Drinking and driving kills. Every year there's thousands of people who are involved in accidents due to people drinking and driving, and also there's thousands of people every year that get arrested due to drinking and driving. I chose this topic because I had worked at a police department for the past 5.5 years, and I come face to face with these issues, if not every day, every other day. Today I'll be talking about the consequences and ways to avoid from drinking and driving. First of all, one of the main consequences of drinking and driving is the possibility of serious injury or death. In 2010, according to the Department of Transportation, every 2 hours, 3 people died due to drinking and driving accidents. Also, the Center for Disease Control reported that for people under the age of 24, vehicular accidents is the leading cause of death. With that being said, 40% of those accidents were due to drinking and driving. Also, in the year 2000, there were over 13,000 deaths alone from just drinking and driving. Secondly, there's always the possibility when you have been drinking and you get in your vehicle and decide to drive, the possibility of being arrested. Now, with me being working for the police department for the past 5.5 years, like I said, I come face to face with this every day. I've seen people so intoxicated that they couldn't even walk into the jail. They had to be carried into the jail after being medically evaluated. I've seen people that have been asleep at the wheel with their foot on the brake, sitting at a red light, passed out, while their car was still in drive. Obviously it's dangerous, but people don't consider the consequences of drinking and driving. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, over 1.4 million people in 2010 were arrested for DWI. That's just a ridiculous amount of people being arrested for that number. Now, what happens if you get a DWI? Well, first-time offenders, you get your license suspended. Possible jail time, you have to spend thousands of dollars to get yourself an attorney. You have to spend thousands of dollars in court fees, and you have to spend thousands of dollars to get your driver's license back. Second-time offenders or more, I've seen somebody with more than 9 DWIs on his record. Now, if you were a habitual drunk driver, after you get your second DWI, you have to have a thing called an interlock device installed on your vehicle. And what that is it's a device that you have to blow in to every time you start your car before you're able to drive. So if there's any alcohol in your system, you will not be able to drive. Now, the only way that you'll be able to turn the engine on is if there's absolutely no alcohol in your system. Thirdly, drinking and driving can be prevented, and it can be avoided so easily. Some of the steps that you can take to avoid from drinking and driving are pretty common sense. If you know that you're going to be going out that night, try to find a designated driver. For example, you can use a parent or a sibling. Your family will not want to have you take the chance of driving home intoxicated, take the chance of getting seriously injured or being killed or being arrested. Your family would be happy to be your designated driver. Also, if you are not able to find a designated driver, call a taxi. These days, everybody has smartphones, so everybody can look up a number for a taxi. You just have to be responsible and not stubborn and be able to call a taxi when you know that you need one. Now, most people don't know how much alcohol it takes for them to get intoxicated, so they need to educate themselves. They need to look up and research with their body type, how much they weigh, how many drinks will put you over the legal limit. Now, most people don't know, but once you have your first drink, that alcohol is affecting your judgment. Your judgment is the first aspect of your decision making to go right out the window. Most people don't know that, but in my experience, when I was being trained, that is the first thing that gets clouded, is your judgment. Now also, if for some reason you can't get a taxi, maybe you're at a friend's house. If he's a friend, then I'm sure they'll let you stay the night at their place. Nobody's going to want to have that on their conscience if something happens to you. If you get in an accident, if you get arrested, that person would feel horrible because they could have stopped it. So I'm sure if they're a friend, they would have no problem with you staying the night over there. Now, if you need more examples of any safe ways to get home safely and avoid drinking and driving, you can go to a website called reachout.com, reachout.com. It talks about drinking and driving, and it has some other steps to avoid drinking and driving. Now, in conclusion, since I have been in this field, I've seen hundreds of people come into the jail that I work in. Now, it can easily be avoided, and driving while intoxicated is a serious, irresponsible, and just dumb decision making on anybody who decides to do it. There should be no excuse why somebody should get into their car and drive after they've been drinking. I've given some examples of what you can do in order to not drink and drive. And with that being said, next time that you're going to be going out, you have to think responsibly. If you are capable of making plans to go out, have a good time, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with having a good time with your friends and having a few drinks, but you have to be responsible with that. If you are capable of making plans for that night, then you are more than capable of making plans for a ride to take you home safely, or to get home safely. Thank you.